Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm excited to talk about the 10 things you need to know as a seller. So if you want to consider it or even thinking about putting your house on the market, you want to stay tuned because today I'll go over the 10 basic things you need to know before you even put your house on the market. Hello guys, my name is Koumou. I'm a local realtor here with Nice Group at Keller Williams Realty, and today we will discuss the 10, I would say basic or mumble about the 10 things you need to know as a seller. Okay, before we dive into it, I'll give you 3 seconds real quick to go get a coffee, water, whatever you need, and hit the subscribe button so that way you get alerted every time we put a video up every week, so you're always on the loop. Okay, the first thing on my list is sold as is comment by a seller. I want to address this issue. In North Carolina, resale home are sold as is. As a seller, you don't have to emphasize on the fact that the home is being sold as is, or you don't necessarily need to put it on the MLS that the house is being sold as is. It is up to the buyer to do the due diligence and be happy or pleased with the condition of the home. If they're not, they can always request for some type of repair. You as a seller can say yes, no, or I'll do this. So emphasizing on the home being sold as is not something you as a seller in North Carolina have to worry about. Every resale home in North Carolina is sold as is. Unless this is a brand new construction or is a new construction, you won't have to worry about emphasizing or even put it on the MLS that your property is being sold as is. So that's one of the questions that I hear a lot. In fact, I just had a listing appointment on Saturday, and the first thing the seller told me is if we were to put this house on the market, I just want to let you know that I'm not planning on doing any repair. The home is being sold as is. And I had to explain to that seller that every resale home in North Carolina is sold as is. So do not stress yourself. Every resale home in North Carolina is sold as is. The next topic, I am not paying any closing costs. So this has come a lot in the last few years because of the inflow of investors in Charlotte, a lot of sellers on the fact that they will take care of closing costs. As a seller, you are not required to pay a buyer's closing cost. The buyer's closing cost is negotiated as part of the offer. Buyer may ask for a closing cost. Based on the offer, you can say yes or even counter that buyer on that closing cost. Yet as a seller, you are not required to pay for a buyer closing cost. That's another topic I hear a lot. The only thing you be liable for as a seller is your side of the closing costs. Your attorney fee, your real estate commission if you're using a realtor, your exempt tax are closing toward the county, and if there's any other fees or due that related to the sale of their home in your camp. But paying for the buyer closing costs is not required by the seller to do. So I mentioned earlier that we'll go over 10 of them, right? So we are number 3. Number 3 things is the commission charged by a real estate agent. There's no standard commission charged by a listing agent or real estate agent. The 6% is not a standard charge. In fact, there was a lawsuit that I believe just happened in August where this is part of the lawsuit. So there is no standard 6% or there's no standard commission rate as part of the listing agreement. Listing agreement commission rate is negotiated between the seller and his listing agent. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you as a seller fully aware of that as well too. Number 4 on my list, let's talk about the due diligence fee. I get this question a lot of time. Before the listing agreement, while the house is on the market, once we receive an offer, the due diligence fee is a fee that is paid to the seller by the buyer. This fee is not refundable if the buyer decide get a cold fee and decide to back out. Now, as a seller, if you are in breach, yes, you might be liable to refund the due diligence fee, or let's say you're in a situation where you feel bad for the buyer, and in that case, they'll return the due diligence fee or give back the due diligence fee. Halfway there, number 5 on the list is the appraised value. You as a seller do not have to settle at the appraised value. It is up to you to negotiate on that appraised value. So let's say for instance the appraisal come back $10,000 below the contract price. Now you can offer to me the buyer halfway, or you can just say yes, I'm okay, I'll move forward with the appraised value. Now the only thing you want to be careful about, if you are under contract with an FHA buyer and you refuse to move forward with that appraised value and the buyer decide to terminate, that appraised value become a material fact, and as a seller you will have to disclose that value to all potential buyers. So having an appraisal as an FHA is a material fact. As a seller, you have to disclose it if the deal doesn't go through. But other than that, no, you are not required to settle at the appraised value. When the appraised value come back, it is negotiating. If it come back low, you as a seller have to negotiate with that buyer and meet that buyer if you choose at the appraised value. So yeah, just know that the appraised value is the appraised value and you are not required to settle at the appraised value. We are moving along pretty good. So number 6 on the list. Number 6 is about you and I, listing agent and the seller. I have heard this. I have been doing this a little over a decade now, and I've heard sellers somewhat hold back because they feel that they don't want to sign listing agreement because they feel they'll be obligated to their listing agent for a period of a year. No, there are no standard term on your listing agreement with a listing agent. You can have a listing agreement just for a day if you choose to, and you can have a listing agreement for a month if you choose to. So a listing agreement, there's no standard term of a listing agreement. So don't ever get in a situation where you feel that the listing agreement has to be a 12, a 6 month or a year terms. Now that term is negotiated, and it is between the seller and the listing agent to negotiate that listing agreement term. 3 more to go. Number 7, the buyer can back out a contract even an hour before closing. Yes, in North Carolina, the seller is required to proceed, or if you choose not to, as a seller, the buyer can sue you for specific performance. On the opposite side, the buyer, you as a seller cannot sue that buyer or cannot go after that buyer for specific performance. A buyer can back out, a buyer can come to the closing, look at the closing disclosure, just say that, oh, I don't like it, I don't want to move forward. It has happened where buyers will back out the day before. Yes, that can happen. So a buyer is not required to proceed with the sale. The buyer can choose to back out even a minute before closing. Now, would that be subject to some consequences? Absolutely. Yeah, the buyer has the right to back out anytime during the purchase contract. Okay, so you wanted to be aware of that. It's not a done deal until it is recorded. Number 8, I didn't want to add this to the list, but as a realtor, I have to be honest, you don't need a realtor to sell your home. Is it a best practice, a good practice to have a realtor to help you through the process? Yes. Yet as a seller, you don't need a realtor to sell your home. You can sell your home as a for sale by owner. You can sell your home to one of those third-party websites that will buy your home directly through you. There are many ways you can sell your home without having to consult with a realtor. So don't feel that you are obligated to get a realtor when it comes to selling your house. Is it a good practice? Is it to your best benefit to perhaps consult with a realtor before you make such a decision? I'll highly recommend to do so. Yeah, just don't ever feel that you are compelled to sell with a realtor. I just wanted to put it out there. Yes, as a realtor, would love to help you. Yeah, you don't need me as a realtor to sell your home as well too. Okay, number 9 is very, very, very important. I just had this situation happen just, I would say, 2 weeks ago. Okay, seller is moving out of town and seller need this money to close on their house. Funds are not released until the deed is recorded in North Carolina. Just because you sign doesn't mean that you get your money. Now, in North Carolina, the funds are not released until the deed is recorded. So just be careful when you're signing on your closing. So if you were one that signed on Friday at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, perhaps that deed may not be on record until Monday. So from Saturday, Sunday, you will not have your money. And also on the right side of that too is the key are not released until it is recorded as well too. So nothing is done until the deed is recorded. Just by signing doesn't mean that the deal is done or closed. No, you have to make sure that it is recorded before everything is done. Number 10, last one, the funniest, the best of it all. I just got an email of this, or a text about this just this morning, and that's how I promised to do this video, by the way. As a seller, you do not have to have the property professionally cleaned before closing. I had a client reach out, I have a buyer's agent reach out to me and ask me, hey, will the seller professionally clean the home before closing tomorrow? And I asked the seller said, no. What do you think? I said, there's nothing in writing that will enforce a seller to have the property professionally clean. So yeah, would you want to have the house broom sweep clean? Yes, best practice. Yeah, there's nothing in writing that says the house has to be professionally clean. So as a seller, don't feel that you are obligated or under an oppression to have that property professionally clean by professional before closing. So I hope this video was helpful. Just thought of the 10 most have heard question in my past experience as a listing agent, and just figure I throw it out there. There was a lot. Some of these questions come almost every time I meet with the seller. As a listing agent, I'm guilty of assuming a lot of stuff going into a listing appointment. So I figure I put this out there. But if you need more information, if you have more questions as a seller, or even thinking about selling your house, please comment below. I love to hear your comment. I love to hear from you. I have my phone number in my bio, so feel free to call or text me. And if this video has been helpful by any means, hit the subscribe button. I do my best to put a video up every week to just kind of give you tips on anything that I heard, surprises, or just topic that just come in my mind that I put out there every week. So until then, see you next week and have a good weekend.